All right, it's Monday, April 1st. This is an end of the day SPY recap, and today we end up with a two down bar that takes out the low of the previous day and closes red. So this is the first day of the new week, the new month, the new quarter, and we have some key reference points to monitor now going forward. First of all, on the two down day, you can see here we didn't reach the next target to broaden lower, which would be down here, the low of this green bar, but that doesn't mean we can't get there in compound fashion. So we're going to watch for tomorrow on Tuesday. Do we get follow through lower, hold the midpoint of this bar today, and then have a two down continuation and start towards our target? If not, then this is a two down failure that might unfold. If let's say we gap up tomorrow and above the midpoint and start higher, that's kind of an actionable signal, but we'll see if that develops. Also, we can come down during the day tomorrow, not reach that target, and intraday come up through the halfway point of that bar. That'll be a sign that we might be taking the month, which is right here, which for the first day is started red, and eventually continuing higher to take out the high of the previous month and the high of the previous quarter and everything. I kind of shot a whole quarterly review video. This is the quarterly chart. After this big green bar, you expect that high to be tested somewhere, in the next 3 months. So at the moment, we're starting down first, which is always a possibility. And I discussed how even on, these green bars here, you can start down first before eventually moving higher. So we're starting lower, and that gives us, let's go back to the daily chart, a key reference point here. This open on the purple line I drew is kind of the key now going forward, not only for the rest of the week, but for this month and for the quarter. If we stay below it, I'm going to stay biased. I mean, obviously, if we fail to hit targets and then start up, I want to see, I would expect price to get through that area and turn green, turn the monthly chart green and the quarterly chart green, but we'll see if that happens. But for now, as long as we stay below there, I'm expecting lower prices and looking for, opportunities to kind of head lower towards certain targets day after day. Tomorrow's target would be the two down continuation that takes out this bar here. And we will see if all week long we keep coming down and get a two down week, which can maybe bring us all the way down here. But as I discussed on kind of a midday video on the SPY where I bought some puts, which I'll show you in a minute, I anticipated this midpoint of this buying tail right here might be a good support area, and you can see price kind of held that area. So if we go to the intraday chart, between the blue lines was the pre-market range. First bar kind of started green, paused on bar 2, bar 3. We kind of tried to take out that low and paused. And then as bar 4 was making a red bar, I discussed how I bought puts here and how I generally scaled out and how I kind of exited a lot of the position down, right down in here where like I described, that's kind of entering into that buying tail, which could be support. So, when things happen matter, and when things happened in the past matter. So that's why when price was coming down, you knew this was an area to monitor closely. Price took out its pre-market low, which was the blue line. That was after that red bar, you kind of expected that. Then you worked down to that next support area. You wanted to see if you get an orderly pause and then follow through lower to some lower targets. You had the orderly pause, but then the next move down just couldn't follow through and get there. You had the kind of the reversible here. We just stayed down there the rest of the day. Obviously, after hours, we're kind of holding near the lows. So after a red bar, you're kind of anticipating lower tomorrow. So anyway, that's where it stands going, into tomorrow and for the rest of the week. Red bar, I kind of expect lower, but I also know we could fail. And then if we fail, I want to see price start to come up through this purple line in order to really get excited about the buy side. So we will continue with the month and the quarter opening red and maybe anticipate with the red bar here. We anticipate a little lower. If we can get to that target, you can see an obvious target down here and a gap. So, I could see trying to kind of go a little lower to start. If we go back to the monthly chart, I also discussed how the midpoint of the prior month, this green line, is an area you can come down to and still hold there and eventually turn up somewhere in the month. So we're very early in the month, but we're heading lower to start, and that's very normal. So, with anticipation that eventually we will move higher. So we'll look for signs of that, but for now, we don't have it. So tomorrow, let's just see if we follow through lower. If not, then let's see if we get to take out the low of the previous day. Let's see if we come up through the midpoint of that day. As long as we hold the midpoint of this day to the downside, we're biased down now, and for as long as price wants to go lower until it eventually fails in some way and turns up. And the weekly chart, we will see really what unfolds now for the rest of the week. It's not a 2-down week at the moment, and it's just day one. And sometimes you get a turnaround Tuesday, sometimes you don't. But those are some of the key levels to monitor. Again, midpoint, the green bar is the midpoint of the prior month. We can hold, so I could see coming down and taking out that area, that liquidity, and then holding that, and then eventually turning up later in the month. I could see maybe not, trying to go lower and not even getting our next target and turning up and getting green above the purple line, which is our key reference point as discussed for the bigger picture now for the next, month and really the next 3 months. So let's see what happens. But today was a very good trade to the downside out of the gates on bar 4, and you had a good morning trade to the downside. So, a good, opportunity on the SPY to start out the month, and we will just see how things go for the rest of the week.